Alright folks, how you doing? Today I'm going to be going over a game of the 5.7 Soviet lineup I played back around the end of November. I'm just going to be having a look, sort of seeing what I think I did right, what I think I did wrong, explain some of my decision making at the time, just generally take a look over my gameplay. As you can see, we're on Finland. I'm not really a big fan of this map. I think it's pretty poorly laid out. Kind of divides the combat into 3 lanes. Not really a fan of it. But I'm heading out along the coast side here on the west. I'm going to the A point, and it's my preferred position to push from this side of the map. We've just lost a Comet to an R3 T-20 in the centre. He tried to make an early push for the B point. It is a bit stronger from this side on the B point due to the layout of the terrain there, but, well, under-tiered anti-aircraft gets there first. Yeah. Anyway, we're moving on to the A point here, or around the A point. I don't really want to go straight in and start the cap. It's just a big signal to everyone that you're here. I'd rather park around the corner a bit first, see what else is around before I choose to make a move. Now, I don't have any support with me here. There's 2 heavies sort of coming this way, but they're extremely far away. Not really in a position to actually back me up. So, coming forwards isn't always the best decision, but I am on the flank. I don't think any of these enemies know I'm here. I've got 2 Tigers and a Ferdinand coming. This does allow me to at least take a few enemies out, ideally before they manage to take the cap. So, shooting to the corner of the Tiger, it was basically the only place I could see, but it's also going to kill the driver and gunner, and it's going to, in most circumstances, take out the ammunition as well. So it's a fairly reliable shot to kill them, or at the very least cripple them. But that shot's going to have given me away to the second Tiger. He knows I'm here. I can't push around behind him because there's the Ferdinand, and unfortunately there's also an R3 T-20. I would love to ignore this and focus on the Tiger. I'd love to not give myself away. I mean, I'm sure he already knew I was around here, but just in case, I'd rather not have had to take that shot. But the R3, if he notices me, will absolutely cripple me in seconds. It's not something that can be ignored. So, we take him, and we prepare to deal with a Tiger, who doesn't appear to be wanting to push me. I had a nice side shot there, but unfortunately no gun depression, and the lip of the ice here is preventing me from driving further out to get that gun depression that I want. But there is no question that Tiger knows exactly where I am now. Can't see the Ferdinand, so I'm going to presume he's moved into somewhere where he doesn't have a line of sight on me, and this is my best chance to try and flank the Tiger from this side. Thankfully it turns out the Ferdinand has actually pushed up. I think that was a mistake, but he's pushed up, allowing me to get a side shot on him. And now the Tigers decide to push me. Rushed my shot. It wasn't great. Thankfully he got Gaigened in the process. The 88 should really do more damage than that, but that allows me to take a shot at him. And in the distance you can see a little glimpse of something driving behind those trees, so I need to back up, get back into cover while I work out what that is, and make sure that the rest of the area is actually clear. As far as I'm aware it is. I've killed 4 tanks, but there's always a potential to be shot across the cap there from over in that little donut area. And the cap itself is still, well, it's still basically a death trap with how open it is. There's a few small bits of cover, but there could be anything around. There we go, we know what it is now. An M18. So that'll be the R3 that I killed. He's come back. The backup vehicle of the M18. It's a lot higher BL than his first one, but obviously the R3 was much better for the cap rush. He's there. He's now lurking on the ice, and I need to keep an eye on him. Now the cap is right there. It's under enemy's control, and it needs to be taken back, or at the very least decapped to slow the ticket bleed. Just inches away from me, but if I even just for a moment park myself on there to decap it, I open myself up to getting shot from anything that might be lurking nearby, such as that Tiger 2H that I hadn't noticed. My teammates have started to push up though. They've just arrived, which drew the attention of the Tiger 2 and alerted me to it, allowing me to have a side shot, get rid of him, and now I know I've got support. I might actually be able to safely move on to this cap. The idea here is that those heavy tanks are going to reduce the chance that I get shot from the east direction, from over in that donut area. Even if my allies don't see them, the enemy should see my allies first and shoot them over me. Which is basically what's happened, and M18 just knocked out that IS-2. Unfortunately, I haven't even noticed this yet, because I'm so focused on the Bulldog over here. I was hoping I could move on to the cap and focus all my attention in the M18's direction, but obviously the Bulldog is slightly preventing me from being able to do that. I just unfortunately scuffed the edge of his mantlet there. It's kind of hard to see exactly where you're aiming through all those bushes. That was the Ferdinand coming back, but the Black Prince has arrived with me as well, and so that's giving me some fire support, and again, he's going to take the attention off me. Even if I haven't managed to hold the cap, I have held the flank long enough for support to arrive. I was just about to start pushing up for the M18, but something else has started coming down that hill there. Another respawner coming back. And I'm a bit concerned. This M18 is just waiting for the opportune moment. I really want to push him, but I don't know what's coming, and I don't want to drive out side on in front of a potential shot. It's getting a bit awkward. And actually, I overly pushed my luck. It turned out it was a Tiger 2 that just came back. Not really much chance of surviving that one. We've got control of A. Most of the team is going towards B, including one who seems to have gone past the B point somehow. But we don't have really anything going on at C. Now naturally I would like a bit of action, and I know there's going to be enemies there if they have the points, but also I'd like to try and get us an additional cap. I could go and try and reinforce A, or I could really try and push B with the rest of the team. But I figure I'll see if I can make myself useful over here, so I'm going to head to C, try and play it cautiously, although it's not always possible. Some risks do have to be taken. I've just spotted a tank down there, so throw a quick ping, but don't divert at all from my objective. I'm going over here. Now again, as with A, I'm not going onto the C point, not straight away. I want to clear the area first. That could be a guy up there. That could be very risky. I might have just died the second I came around the corner. Instead, we have a Bulldog hiding here. So it feels protected me, as it so often does. I've managed to come out with only minor crew damage and a broken fuel tank. And I've now already got a nice side shot on this Tiger. And that's now 2 tanks down. The C point hopefully a little more clear. We were taking the B point until he just got bombed there. And we've got some guys moving into C. I'm still not going onto the cap myself, same principle as before. I don't really want to draw all the attention to me, but I'm going to try and move up and make sure that nothing else gets to the cap from the enemy team. I've been quite lucky so far, and we survived a shot in the earlier T-34 that I probably shouldn't have done, and we survived one in this one that I shouldn't have done. I think any good game ends up with a reasonable amount of luck in it. Best thing you can do, of course, is to try and get into a position where you can take advantage of that luck more often. It might just be where do your opponents choose to go. It might be a bad shot from the enemy's part, it might be a good shot from you. Or rather, good RNG on your damage. But getting into a good position to take advantage of that luck, or to make the luck, is always going to be helpful. I honestly felt bad for that Tiger earlier on who shot me and failed to kill me, because he didn't do anything wrong. He pushed out into a position knowing that I was on reload and knowing that he should have been able to kill me, but he got screwed over by, bad RNG. Now, of course, ideally, you don't put yourself in those positions where you have no fallback option, but that's not always possible. I don't think he did anything wrong. I just feel he got a bit unlucky. But obviously worked out in my favour, and now we've managed to get hold of all 3 capture points, or in the process of getting hold of all 3. And it's time to start trying to capitalise on that. Don't really want to give them a chance to push back, start regrouping their forces. So I'm moving up here and I'm trying to flank around and make sure there's nothing around the back end of the B point. We did see a Tiger over here earlier. I don't know what happened to him, whether he drove off, whether he's still there. I'm just going to check the area out and ideally stay with a few teammates for support. There is an enemy M18 here. He's just killed ours and he's lurking around the cap. So there's a potential he might get the decap, drive off, go hide anywhere. You know, he's going to be a nuisance and he needs to be gotten rid of. We also just lost the final guy over at the A point. So while things are looking good right in this moment, there's still a potential that everything's going to go wrong very quickly. Now at the time I hadn't noticed the death of that player near A. Someone's pinging it on the map, but I've already started turning around and going this way. The idea was to go and try and cut off their reinforcements. We've secured the area around B, and I'd like to cut them off in their numbers and get the battle sort of a bit closer to a conclusion. There's also obviously an Ostwind here firing, and a Panther has just killed our Jumbo over there, so I know there's opponents around here. But essentially I'm not paying full attention to what's going on in the kill feed, what's going on the minimap. I haven't noticed the pings, I haven't noticed that we're in danger of losing the A cap. We don't necessarily need 3 caps, it will speed up the ticket bleed of course, but we don't need all 3. The danger here is instead that if he takes A, then he's got a straight route into B and in behind us. But I'm a bit too focused on trying to get over here and kill this Panther. I know he's occupied, I know he's distracted by the Jumbo. That should be a nice free kill, and that's what I'm focused on, and that's not good. I need to be more aware of the way the battle is unfolding around me. But I can see all the track marks here, I can see my allies' wrecks. There's the Panther, and there's a Whirlwind with him as well, so that's one. And now the Whirlwind chooses to back up instead of continuing, which is an interesting choice. And that's 2, Whirlwind gone as well. It's tough to say whether this was the right call, really. If I'd left them there, they might have pressed on and taken the C point. So going back to help A, had I even realised that, going back to help A might have been the bad choice. It might have just resulted in us losing C, and then we lose A, and then who knows, maybe I die when I arrive at A as well. It could have gone completely the opposite direction. There's honestly no way of knowing exactly how it would have gone had I gone with the other, well not other plan, with the other choice. It didn't matter because I'd never really noticed it, but hindsight isn't even enough in this situation to work out what would have been the better play here. What certainly would have been a better play is to not over push. After dealing with that Panther and Whirlwind, there was no reason for me to really stay here. I saw the Batchat get knocked out by the Nashorn, and I thought, oh, nice easy shot on him. Turned out no gun depression, and not quite got the vision, and then I've just been sandwiched between 3 vehicles, so that didn't exactly work out either. After killing the Panther, the ideal choice would have been to roll back down towards the centre again, pay a bit more attention to the map and realise that every single person around the B point had been killed. Go back and try and secure that. I didn't. I kept pushing and, did that same problem that so many people suffer from, of just overextending and getting killed by the respawn wave. So now we're into the IS-1. I'm on my 3rd spawn. We've just lost the guy who was over at A. We've lost the guy who was north of C. There's literally nothing from our team on the map now. Nothing standing in the way of those capture points. And we've gone from what was looking pretty good into potentially losing all 3 points here. We're already losing 2. There goes the 3rd. And I'm already on my way back out to C. Not because I thought C was the more important point. I actually think A and B are the better ones to take. While you can shoot from that hill between B and C and get a shot on both those caps, you can also quite comfortably drive back and forth between A and B. I prefer that area, it's a bit shorter, you've got a bit more cover. But I'm heading to C simply because the 3 guys who just killed me were also heading to C, so I know that they're going to be there, I know they need dealing with, and I know what I'm going to be dealing with. But that's the reason for my choice here. Now again, as when I came this way with the 34-85, this could have gone terribly. I could have rounded that corner and got shot straight in the face by the Nashorn. Could have been up on that ridge. Got a very good gun that'll just cut clean through me. Thankfully he didn't. And I've already seen him over there on the cap. Don't seem to be paying attention in this direction, so I can get a side shot. There's the Puma as well. I can just try and thin their numbers again. Try and get to the point where we can maybe retake this cap. And then we'll work from there. Time is running out though. I can't really get a good shot at him. Time is running out and I can't afford to wait for him, so I've just got to take whatever shots I can get and move on. That's two of the ones at sea dead. There's the third. Presumably, and the only information I have to work with, that's everything dead here. Unless a fourth one turned up while I was on respawn. That's the cap cleared. I don't really have time to check that nothing else came. I've just got to go for it and hope that we're right. They've got 3 caps. We're bleeding tickets very quickly. I'm not even intending to stay and cap this. I'm just going to drive in, get the decap, turn, and go and try and support B. If there's no enemies here, I'm not really needed here. We've got 2 allies coming in who are going to try and cap it anyway. They were pushing for this point before I was, so I know that they want to take it. There's no reason to stay around. An uncontested cap doesn't need 3 people. It'll go a little faster. But really, I can be put to far more use going to B and trying to help out there.
The enemy's getting closer to victory. Attention to the designated grid.
Got an anti-aircraft calling for backup. He does have 2 tanks getting a bit closer to him, but whether they can actually arrive in time to help him is another question. And as much as I would love, again, to take the time over this, I've just got to gun the engine and go for that B point. I can stop to shoot a little bit. Taking C has at least slowed the ticket bleed, but it's still going to be very close. So I've seen the target and this, yeah, not the best use of my time. Thankfully he did die anyway, but not only did I stop for a shot and take my time over it, but I didn't even hit it in the end anyway. And now we're just making all that time a complete waste. You know, I left C because C was secure and we needed B. I thought I was going to be needed to help try and get B. And I get halfway there and I'm turning around to go back because the team actually managed to take B without me. And we are now losing, potentially losing C, as there's a heavy tank on its way here as well. Thankfully I'm at least managing to get up the hill in time and into a position to shoot before he can clear that cap. So that's a sort of a crisis averted, essentially. And now I really just need to stay here. Stay on this hill. I have a shot into both B and C, and I need to stay put and support both caps. I'm so glad that my team managed to make that push into the B point. If they hadn't, yeah, if that Bulldog hadn't died, obviously I missed a shot on it, he might have survived, he might have killed my team, and then I'd be having to try and get to B ASAP. Only to find that as soon as I started decapping B, we start losing C, and I've got to go back with no time to do it. So thankfully everything came together here, the team pulled through, and I've managed to get some kills, get some shots off, and get some security over the cap. But there is a plane who is desperately trying to undo all of that. He's just killed off both the guys who were on B. This has forced me down from the hill just before the guy at C pings for help again. And it's all getting a little too tense at this stage. I don't think any of these decisions were made with any sort of logic so much as just panic right now. I don't want to be the next guy getting bombed. But I really don't want us to lose the B point either, so I'm just parking my ass on this cap I have no intention of leaving it. I'm not going to go hunt for any tanks. I'm just going to sit here and make sure it can't be decamped. And hopefully the guys at sea can do the same over there. It's really kind of a miracle we won this one. So many things went wrong, and so many things I would say were lucky. Again, just pure coincidence in a lot of them, where the enemy happened to go right as I happened to be there. Had I been slightly closer to B when that tiger appeared at sea, I might not have been able to turn around and go back in time to stop him killing my ally, which means I would have then had to drive onto the cap to go and defend it. Then I wouldn't have been able to get back to B in time to stop that Type 61. Just tiny moments in timing could have made all the difference. But we managed to scrape through with 15 kills, an extremely close game, tense and right down to the wire. I'm very pleased with that one. It really took a lot of effort to get through it. Thankfully we made it. And yeah, just a little bit of luck, some questionable map awareness, but it played out in the end. So that's all for today. I'm not really sure how good this one has been. It was a great game, but I don't really know how well I've covered it. Either way, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. I will see you next time.